I'm Cherise Arthur, and I'd like to invite you to join me on this interview that I'm about to have with Adaleta. Adaleta's been on our team from this year. You may have spoken with her for some of you. She's an incredible addition to our team because she used to be with Viking Corporate. So, in this interview, I ask her a few questions about the transition from the time that she had in Viking Corporate to being with us, that I imagine going there travel. She brings an incredible amount of knowledge and expertise to our clients. We are able to have a Viking rep essentially in house with us that knows the itineraries like the back of her hand, has also moved from Croatia, so has a lot of in-depth knowledge and a really interesting story. So in this interview, I ask her about some of the differences between working with Viking directly at corporate and then working with IGT, and how we are able to use so much of who she is and her expertise and training is a direct impact on how our clients get to enjoy their travel. So join me on getting to know Adaleta. Hi, everyone. My name is Cherise Arthur, and I support the team here in Sydney, Australia. So looks a little bit lighter on my side than it does Adaleta. Adaleta's been in our front office team. She's been working there, and we're doing a segment about the people behind your travel, the people behind that are planning your excursions, that are making sure you get the best of everything. And so we wanted to be able to have a segment where we introduce members of the team. You get to know them, you get to know their background, their history, their role, and why they are great at IGT and great for planning your vacation. So thanks, Adaleta, for joining me. And
Yeah.
I'd love to just hear about your story, what brought you here, and then we'll get into some questions.
Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here. I love working with this team, and I actually been working with Carol for a very, very long time. But let me start from the beginning. I'm originally from Croatia. Born and raised there. Went to school, went to college, and at the end of the 1990s, which was not a easy period if anybody's familiar with the history of the Balkans. But it was at the end of the 90s, I decided that after working there for quite a while, and I have a background in a graphic design and a printing industry, like an engineering. I decided I was going to actually I'm far more interested in fine art stuff. And so I decided that I was going to apply for a grad program in US. Got accepted and came to Boston to study film and photography at the Museum of Fine Arts, School of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, and did that for quite some time. Also worked at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, doing and supporting quite a lot of exhibition stuff that's happening there for the contemporary art production, also lectures and stuff, and produced quite a bit of a material for the Museum of Fine Arts as in my role as a digital media producer there. In the economic downturn in 2009-ish or 8-ish, museum actually unfortunately had to cut down on their staff, so they had to let go quite a lot of people, and I was the one of them. I managed to continue working and being creative. I had my own little business making jewelry, and we did very, very well for quite some time. But unfortunately, during some personal circumstances, I had to take a full-time job to support my son. So I ended up wrapping that up and got a job at Viking in 2015. So I worked for about 10 years for Viking. Got to travel on Viking, got to know the product inside out for everything. Rivers, oceans, expeditions, enjoyed working for Viking for a long time. But now, time goes by, Viking, because Carol and I started working when I was still when I was still working at Viking for a very long time. We at least worked for maybe last 5 years, or if not more, while I was at Viking. And then I was done. I was like, I'm done with corporate. Let's do something else. Let's work with clients directly. Let's have a little bit of a different approach to life. So here I am, enjoying my job as Imagine going there, member, very much.
And we're so happy. So I love that. I love the background, and you have so much knowledge about all the itineraries, everything. Nobody could know the ins and outs better than you. So having you on the team is such a treat. Um, so my question, I guess the first question is like, what originally inspired you when you were searching, when you were like, all right, done with jewelry, time to move on? What originally inspired you to pursue a career in travel and I guess customer service as well?
Ago. I also traveled quite extensively when I was young, when we were living in Europe. So I mean, it's like one of my favorite memories. And what I was always attracted to, how Carol approaches the travel, is like, how do you make your memories? And my favorite memories are from travel. I just like have fond memories of being a, 15-year-old tramping through Amsterdam barefoot because my shoes fell apart. But I went there because I wanted to see the exhibit that they had at the Rijksmuseum for the 100th year anniversary of Van Gogh's birth. So that's one of my absolute favorite memories. It's like, but that was just like one of those favorite things that you carry on with yourself, right, for the rest of your life, and it shapes you. It doesn't matter whether you did it when you were 15 or when you were 60 or whatever, but it stays with you. So just getting yourself exposed to a different culture, different place, different environment is a huge growth for just a week. It makes a huge leap in your mind. So that's what I always thought, that it would be really, really good for people to experience. And jobs, and I was very fortunate that I got a job at Viking because looking for people who had the knowledge of what they are offering, but not only just what they're offering, but that they had the background so that they can actually talk about what you will be experiencing. Clicked there very well, and here I am. What is it now? More than 10 years later, I am still doing it and enjoying it very much.
Question would be, what motivates you most in this type of work?
Well, I like to hear what people are looking for. Everybody starts with some kind of idea of what they want. Very few people start on their trip without any preconceptions. So having an idea of where you want to go and how you want to experience the trip is usually always very, very helpful for us when we try to help clients design their trip. If you don't have any ideas, you just know where you want to go. I mean, I'm going to start with questions.
Yes.
I'm going to get you jump through the hoops for me, because I need to know where your heart lies. They're looking for. So you're basically trying to custom tailor everything that they put in front of you, whether it's their destination, budget, approach to it, what they want, what kind of promotions they prefer, because there's always so many different things, right? So getting to know your client is always the first and most important part of the process. Is that, do I understand well what you want? Because if I don't understand you, how can I put anything together for you that would work for you, right?
Vein of thought, what clients have stayed with you the most, and what was it about them that made them so memorable?
I usually like to work with people who kind of are open to experiences, right? Sometimes people can be demanding, and people that stay with me are the ones who can always find something satisfying, right? It's like for writers or for artists, it's like, it's not about the final piece of art that you produce. It's about the process of getting there. So I guess I'm just addicted to that process, right? Yes. So it's like, I like talking to people. I like experiencing their excitement. I like hearing them talk about it, like how they're planning to it. I don't mind answering different questions about, shore excursions. What shore excursions is the most important for me? What do I need to see? Can you tell me what it is that I want to experience? It's like, okay, well, there is the bunch of it here that I can experience. But ask me, what should I do in Budapest? I will tell you, make sure you bring your swimsuit, because that's a part of the culture. If you go to Budapest, you have to try the baths there. And like at the same token, I'm reading it on the news right now. There's like, oh, they're having a hard time with the baths in Budapest right now because so many tourists are now coming with the swimsuits. So the locals have a hard time finding a spot for themselves. There was just an article in New York Times, which is kind of interesting. I'm thinking, ooh, did I make that problem for them?
Yeah.
I've been talking about this, the thermal baths in Budapest too much, because instead of, trying to minimize things, you need to tell them. I mean, if there is a visa that is required for a certain trip, they need to know that in advance, and it needs to be part of an informed consent. If you want to go to certain places, you will need to do your diligence and do the paperwork if you need to.
You have a unique perspective on being with both Viking Corporate and Imagine Going There Travel. What is the main difference with working with both of them?
Imagine Going There is different in that respect because it feels more like a family in a sense, because it's smaller and it's not as rigid, and it basically feels much better to be a part of and actually be heard, and because it's easier to be heard about what your opinions are when you're working for Viking. Viking is gigantic in scope. You call once and you call twice and you call 10 times, you may not get the same person on the phone answering the phone, right? But they do have a certain quality of, they have a standard of who they hire and how they handle them. So they really hold everybody to really, really high level of quality work. So I feel grateful for that experience, but I also feel very, very grateful that I can actually bring the experience and also know how to Imagine Going There and help this company grow too. But there is something to be said about Imagine Going There, and the reason why I did decide that this would be a good place for me after Viking, and that is because there is that personal touch and that kind of like above and beyond feel that I like to provide for people, because sometimes when you go on your first adventure and you have never done it before, and if you've waited for such a long time to do it, and now you finally have the money to do it, you really want to have somebody who will be there with you for that. And that's why I always enjoyed, like, Carol would bring the clients on the call with me so that they can hear it from me, what is actually possible and what is not possible, because I would be able to see much better the availability and what we'd be able to provide for them. So that kind of touch not many agencies will do. They will actually do it a very different way, and then in a not necessarily a bad way, but it definitely the personal touch that Carol does definitely works for me much better than any other ways of doing things. So here I am. That's one of the reasons why I decided to join here.
Well, we love having you. I think being able to have not only your corporate expertise and knowledge of each itinerary, but also just being able to work with the clients directly and be able to give them a level of service that we even higher than what we were able to give them before is something that we're really excited to provide to our clients. So my last question for you is, if you were cruising, if you were choosing any itinerary with Viking to be able to sail on, where would you choose and why?
I would want to try to go to Egypt, or some of those itineraries that are not going to be an easy achievement in general. And some things that I would definitely want to have on a cruise or Viking like that. That would be my desire, because Mekong would be also a nice one. But if Egypt or Mekong would be my choice of a cruise like that.
Well, thank you so much for all of your time answering all these questions. I think it's really lovely. We've got so many clients that do feel like family, for them to be able to not only know, oh, here's someone on the team, but actually someone that has the amount of experience and just level of excellence that you bring to our team in general. It's so much fun. So thank you for being with us on the team, and thank you for being with me today to be able to do a little get to know you.
Oh, you are so very welcome. It's been a pleasure, Cherise.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thanks, Cherise.